Also have to place a few of the large power poles along the way. Gotta make sure we have the power, right? Power needs to extend all the way along the rails. The ghosts have been sitting for long enough. Plenty of hours. We are on hour 403, which means that I have actually been playing for greater than 200 hours. I have been on this map for greater than 200 hours at this point. A lot of it has been at 2x speed, but not all of it. Not all of it. We only started the 2x speed, what, like 40 something hours in? It was a little while without being at the 2x speed before I caved in and decided, you know what, more progress will happen in a stream if I'm playing at 2x speed than when I'm not. In fact, I think originally I started playing on 2x to make it so that I could do stuff off screen a little bit faster so that there would end up being more done on screen. Getting some of the tedious things out of the way. Like, I consider some of the raw ores builds to be somewhat tedious to actually build something like this. So I did some of this type of stuff off screen. I think I did the tin. I think I did most of the tin stuff off screen. And the primary reason is, well, I sort of have tutorials, and this has not changed since those tutorials. Like, this actual process, stepwise process, has not changed. So the only thing you really miss is just the actual, like, logistic, like, the actual looks of it. That's all you miss, is the design of it. The process is the same as my tutorials. It's just this particular design scheme is all that's missed there. And we've done that design scheme how many times at this point? I think folks might have an idea of how that works. Alright, where am I going to start with this? That is a great question. It's always the question, right? It's like, how do you even begin something like this? Probably with the augs making the meat. So that's how we'll start, is with augs making meat. The Fawagi is needed for the Korlex food. Actually, you know what? No, this needs to start with the train station, doesn't it? Yeah, with the train station. Yes, so King has a very important point. This actually should start with the train station for the inputs. The input train station. And then I need to decide, hey, am I going to build on the top or on the bottom? I don't know. I don't think it ultimately matters. I know that this is going to be my source of tar in the end. So probably up above these train tracks would be the ideal situation. Then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. I need to put a straight rail segment before I can do that. And what I'll do here, what this gives me is a very convenient sections here that can be scaled. And just, actually, you know what? This can be just straight up scaled up. Right? Yes. No, maybe. I mean, it'll only have these 4. Is that fine for these purposes. I'll have 5, 6. I don't know, maybe it's low enough on the... Yeah, it's low enough on the throughput of any one thing that I don't foresee having any throughput issues if I just continue up here. I don't need another waiting area. And I can make another waiting area if I'm that picky about it. So this actually is a decent baseline for the build for the train station. Wow, he's actually using something he's already built before and then scaling it instead of making something completely from scratch. Who is this? Who is this person? Not making a train station completely from scratch every time. When he needs a bigger train station than this. Like, what? Who is? Who is and what has done? But yeah, this will be the casing. Do I need like the actual milk? Like, do I really need the milk for anything in particular? I need the filled milk barrel to raise augs. I need them to raise to upgrade the Fagnots. And that's it. And that's all, folks. For the actual Korlex milk. The filled barrels. The milk itself gets put into casein mixture. What about the mixture? Well, it's just used for pulp, for casein. And this is ultimately what I'm going to be putting on to my train network. The plan, anyway, is to put the casein onto the mixture. Yes, so far, that's all the milk is used for. So the thought is, well, do I put some extra milk onto the train network, which I think I may. I think I may put some extra milk on the train network, which, yeah, that's gonna mean another one of these. Do I want that spacing? That spacing? I can work with it. But it'll make the other stations more difficult. So, excuse me, but delete those. That's the one major problem that I have with bulk rail loaders is you can't undo their placement. They don't undo for some reason with these rail loaders. They refuse to undo, and I don't know why. Alright, and then I need to have the unloaders, and we need 5 cages, salt, tin, fish, and sulfuric acid. So one of these is going to be a outputting into tanks. That is the spacing, but that is not the type of thingy. That is not the type of thingy. I should have a actual proper yeah, that thingy. Yes, building. Same name and all that good stuff. Yes, this is not this is not Arum stone. Nope. No. This is Korlex. Stuffs. Thank you so much for the follow. Cages, sure. cages. That's what you will be. There. 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 That's more for being able to copy paste this more easily. Ooh, I need to get rid of forest. The forest must die. All of this forest. Not really all this forest per se, because we're going to be building to the left. To the left of this area. So not even any of this is going to be part of our build. Our build is only going to be out here with all these stones. So it's the stones that need to die. And that forest. This is just the nanobot termite ammo. In case you're wondering about use cases for the termite ammo. I know it sometimes gets completely overlooked when using nanobots. But yeah, this is the use case. There's always the eternal question of what should your map settings be on trees, especially with the Pie Suite, because on the one hand, the early game requires that you chop down a lot of trees to have sufficient quantities of wood before you are able to automate your wood production. But if you have a lot of trees on your map, you then have to spend the entirety of the rest of the game, unless you have a mod installed to change the settings in the middle of the playthrough, with a lot more trees spawning. So sure, you can spawn more trees with your map to have access to more wood to get through the early game a little bit faster by having access to more wood. Or you can have less wood on the map, spend a little bit longer in the early game, and then not have to deal with having all of these huge forests in your way as you continue to play the rest of the game for the however many hundreds of hours that you will spend during the rest of the game. I've made this very similar point, by the way. This is a very similar conundrum as Biter's existence. I have made this a very similar argument in favor of not ever having biters enabled, because it's a very similar thing where they're okay as a difficulty aspect to get through the early parts of the game. But there comes a point where they are no longer of difficulty at all, and merely a tedium that you need to clear. And merely a tedium that you need to clear in order to continue to expand your base. So, in my honest opinion, I say just don't have the biters, because you're going to be spending most of the game in the state where they become just a tedium to clear rather than anything that's even remotely difficult to you. The early ish parts of the game are so short in the long term. In the grand scheme of things, it's a very short period that you spend where it actually matters. And the rest of the time is just boring tedium. So, yeah. Maybe apply the same logic to trees. Maybe I should apply the same logic to trees and just say, "Hey, maybe not anymore on keeping the tree settings relatively normal, and tone them down a bit. Yes, it'll take a little bit longer to get through the early game, but you spend how much time not in the early game in the grand scheme of things? So, yeah, about that. So this is going to be Korlex tin. Yeah, says the guy with the map stuffed with rocks. Unfortunately, I have no control without manual editing of files over the rocks spawning. I do not have manual control over rocks. Not if I'm going to be using this particular mod. Did that keep its thing? No, it didn't. Because of course it didn't. Korlex tin. Of course it doesn't have all of the... Yeah. I still need another. And I need one that doesn't have any of that. It needs this though, but not that stuff. So one more, at least. I hope I'm not like missing anything important here. It does not need those. This one is the one that will output into these for the sulfuric acid. And the red wire goes like that. We are now checking for sulfuric acid. I am out of coffee. This is sadness. Alright, so that's Korlex sulfuric. Korlex tin. That can be tin, I suppose. You will be fish. And you... Oh, hi, tech. Hello. Glorious, beautiful tech giving me the bee recipes on the wonderful and magnificent milk recipes. So now we have more milk. We can make more milk now. Yay! More milk for free. Free-ish. What's next? Not doing the quality food at this time, because the quality food will require Yadles, which will require Arthurians to get started. Ultimately, because it needs Alien Sample 3s. Ah, the joy of Alien Sample 3s. The absolute joy of Alien Sample 3s. Of immediate importance to acquire. Aurum 2 would be nice. Yeah, that would be nice. There was something. There was something. Renea. Renea 2. That's the one, but I think I'll start with Aurum because it's not blue science. Yes, I'll start with Aurum just because I have a few units of Pi Science stored in this chest. I have just a few thousand units of Pi Science stored up right now. Just 6,500 units of Pi Science sitting in this chest right now. To break through, to do stuff with. I am very much limited by my blue science. Very, very limited by the blue science right now. And the blue science is very much limited by the production of Circuit 2s. And the Circuit 2s, well, they were dead because of a lack of Circuit 1s, and I've fixed that now. So now the issue is these guys again. So, yeah, these things, yet again, are being limited by ferrite. And, of course, the ferrite, that is being limited by the actual iron oxide output right now, so I need to get even more iron oxide. Iron oxide. I am not going to spend nitrobenzene. I am not spending nitrobenzene. I refuse. I refuse this thing. I refuse to do this thing. To get iron oxide. As he's totally doing this thing to get iron oxide, just so we're clear on that. Stuff! That's a really good stuff, but I need the Renea first. I need that one first. You to you. Yeah, let's just totally make these 3 times. Let's just take 2 and immediately make it the equivalent of 6. Yeah. We just took 2 and made it the equivalent of 6 because these Mark IIs are awesome by comparison. That whole +1 crafting speed sure makes it a lot better than a 0.5. So now we should have a bit until we completely run out of nitrobenzene. I mean, we should be not having any nitrobenzene in this particular tank soon. I would imagine. I would imagine that this consumes a fair amount. But, I still see it popping up to 90. Wow, it is actually still producing enough for this to function. Ah, thank you for that host that I see just came in. Okay, that's our train station. That's our train station. I can tell it to bring in. Oh, I have a thing that's called Tin 01. Yeah, Tin 01, you are salt. Cages, salt, fish, tin, sulfuric acid. That's those stations. This station is not urea temp. This is Korlex milk station 1. This is Korlex casein. It's E-I-N. Yes, casein station 1. this will be Korlex Casein Depot 1 and Korlex Milk Depot 1. Yes, it's a very small depot. I can scale the depot a little bit, but I don't really foresee the need to anytime soon, anyway. I'm surprised I had enough rails for this. Oh, that's nice. That's nice, that stretches. Okay, let's define stuffs. So you are going to pull in some beautiful sulfuric acid. You are pulling in some glorious tin plates. You get to pull in fishies. Did I not define fishies? Interesting. Salt. Salt's added in what now? I always forget. Salt! Where does the salt exist? In raw ores. Alright. Salt is in raw ores, all the way down here. Interesting. Cages. That's in here. That's down here. Next to brains. The cages are next to brains. Did I really not define fish? Yeah, I totally never actually defined a fish. No, I did. There it is. Fish depot. Fish mark. Oh, fish mark 1. Oh, I think I know the problem here. I think I know your problem. Yeah, you're raw fish. Yeah, that's the problem. Fish mark 1 is a very different type of fish than raw fish. Alright. Things are flowing, and I need to be very careful. Very careful indeed. That has a lot of salt. That takes a while to fill those unloaders. Yeah. They take their time. Everything else is good. Alright, I guess I need to have a, I mean, 4K. That'll make sure I only have, like, the one train load. That should be okay. I'll leave everything fine and as is. Except the fish. The fish needs to be, like, 500. Just a little bit lower. Alright, time to build! Time to do the build. And as I had mentioned, the build will start with the augs. The augs need the moss. The moss will need the high pressure, the CO2, and the CO2 is going to need the beautiful and glorious creamy latex. Yeah, that stuff. So I need the compost plants as well. Oh, I don't think I grabbed... I did not. Oh, that's unfortunate, because that means I have to actually go back and get the thingies. I forgot to add this. Yeah, the sap extractors. And I'm not carrying around a sap extractor with me, nor do I have any in the vehicle. Oops. Well, back to the mall. Back to the mall. I go. Fortunately, it is quite literally straight south. So I can easily grab. Easily grab. If I had one of those Ocula. Yeah, if only I could get an Ocula. If only I could make an Ocula, but as it turns out, you need Arthurians for that. And you need cotton guts for Arthurians. And I need fiber for bedding for cotton guts for Arthurians. And I need Korlex for the casein for the ultimately the fiber. Could you not be stuck, please? So down the rabbit hole we have gone today. In case you weren't aware, that's how we got here. Like, it's pretty amazing, right? If you actually vocalize the actual process that we just went through today. So today alone, the thought process was trying to start off by figuring out better ways of doing the Renea, but yes, down the rabbit hole, because cotton guts, they're rat rabbits. Cotton guts are rat rabbits. That's what they are. We're trying to figure out the cotton gut Mark II situation and you need Renea for the food and all that other good stuff, but yeah, as it turns out, while it started with Renea, that led us through to seeing like that I needed Yadles for the best Renea recipes that I would like to do, but the Yadles require Arthurians for the Arthurian eggs to start setting up the Yadles, because I need alien sample 3s. The great alien samples. And you need the cotton guts for the Arthurians, right? So I can't get better Renea until I have cotton guts for Arthurians. So I'm sort of stuck with this lesser recipe for the Reneas that I will eventually be doing, but I need modules. I need modules on the Renea. The Renea also got changes made on its Mark II upgrade path that now requires Dingrits. And hey, guess what? Same thing with the Dingrits. You need that alien sample, so you need the Arthurians to get the Dingrits in the end. So through this whole process is like, okay, no matter what, to get the better stuff and to progress, it all goes back to needing Arthurians and cotton guts, and looking at the cotton guts, just deciding, okay, well, let's just do some cotton guts with the Mark 1 stuff and just upgrade it to Mark 2 when I can do the Mark 2 more easily, so that I can at least get some Arthurians to start going back through all these things and making the better stuff with the stuff that the Arthurians are going to be able to give us. However, a lot of that requires bedding. So it's like, okay, well, what can I do with bedding? What is required for bedding? Bedding needs Grodd, bedding needs Yotoi, bedding needs raw fiber. There's also a recipe now that I have access to that also adds formic acid into this, but that's just going to end up being Vrauk, and Vrauk are super simple overall, at least down the most basic of recipes. Well, we shall see what type of scale we need for that if we want to do bedding to any high degree, high output. But that raw fiber got me down to the thought of, oh, hey, I've totally wanted to do this sugar-based raw fiber recipe, and I already have some sugar being made. The only other thing that I need to do is set up Korlex. So here we are, setting up Korlex. For a raw fiber build, for bedding, for cotton guts, for arthurians, for better Renea in the end. Well, for Yadles, for arthurians to Yadles to better Renea to Mark II cotton guts, for more science, for more arthurians, for dingrits, for Mark II Renea, for all the things. All right, can I go over it all again in detail? Yeah, yeah, about that. See, no. Short answer, no. Give me sap. I would like sap. All right.